Hello? Does this thing work? This is the Peak Boredom Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Peak Boredom Podcast. Today we have our fellow podcasters, our new friends, the Rant Collective.
Oh, welcome Steven and Nancy.
Woo!
Hi, thanks for having us.
We'll just So do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, we are Steven and Nancy. We're from the Rant Collective podcast. I'm currently a senior studying business economics and psychology. And Steven?
I'm the other half. I'm Steven. I'm currently a third year at Cal Poly Pomona, and I'm a civil engineering major.
Oh wow! So tell us a bit about your podcast.
Our podcast is literally about anything and everything that we talk about. And the reason we started it is because we have these super late night conversations and we're like, someone needs to hear these thoughts that's not us. Because I feel like we have a very unique take on a lot of like worldly issues and just like how we take on life, especially as like 20 somethings. I feel like there's a lot to figure out. And we just want to share that with the world.
Yeah, so if you have time, guys, check out their podcast. I've listened to a couple of your episodes. They were pretty interesting. You guys have like some interesting takes.
Yeah. We'll put the handle whatever here. Here. Yay.
Lauren, do the thing.
Yeah, do the thing, Lauren.
Hi, quick break guys. Check out Rant Collective on Spotify every Monday, where our friends Nancy and Steven will rant about everything. Also follow their Instagram @Rant Collective for updates on their episodes and to see the pretty posters. Okay, back to Mars and Inge.
Alright, so this is probably a topic that I'm interested in hearing because I myself don't know what to do with it. How do you guys pronounce your last names? Because I know those get butchered a lot.
If you haven't noticed, this is an episode on Southeast Asians with Southeast Asians.
I mean, I've myself got quite the simple. In my opinion, my surname is pretty simple. It's just Sutanto, but yet it's already been butchered even by Indonesians. They're like Santo, Santoso. And I'm like, I don't belong to those families. Mars has gotten hers butchered as well quite a few times.
Yeah, they call it like you lie, like like come on. It's Uli because English. But what about you guys?
I feel like my last name is pretty uncommon for people. So it's really hard for people to know what it should be. And the way you should pronounce it is Duong, because the D in Vietnamese has like two different Ds. So if it has like the line is pronounced like an English D, but mine doesn't. So people always pronounce it as like Duong. And my whole life I thought that was normal until someone told me like, no, it's not. I was like, what?
Yeah, Vietnamese alphabet, we have more alphabet letters than American or like the regular alphabet. So we have extra letters, and Vietnamese is also, we use signs. I don't know what you call it. Accent marks? Sign? I don't know. Yeah.
Even you teach Viet class.
It's okay. Yeah, so like if you like, because with science, if you like say a word wrong, I mean, or what am I going with this? Oh my gosh. So with the science, right, if like one word can have like 3 different meanings just by changing the signs. So for my last name, we're actually like the most common last name out there. I feel like all Nguyen's, all Asians have this last, especially Viet have this last name. But yeah, we have a lot of people butchering my name too. Some people just say like Nguyen, like W-I-N, or then some people say like Nguyen, like that. But it's actually pronounced Nguyen, which is like, it has like this squiggly accent sound. So you have to emphasize on that. But yeah, I'm okay with Nguyen. I've gotten used to it.
That's so sad though. This is
Yeah,
like
it really
my
is.
personal take, and I think a lot. So I've like told Mars, Michelle, and Steven about this, but I feel like as like people from immigrant families, like our families went through so much to get to America in like New Steven's case, and then we're just over here letting people butcher our names, which is like our whole heritage. And I feel like that really bothers me. So I've been trying to say like Yung more often, but it backfires because people look at the bottom of the list for Y to look for my name when I check into events. So it's just like slowly and surely making that progress.
Yeah, that's an interesting take on it. I think it's really important because I saw somewhere that someone mentioned that people who come from immigrant families or people who come from countries that are, colonized by other nations, they have like almost an acquiescent behavior where we just kind of like just accept the things that are like not right, like mispronouncing our name, messing around with our cultures and stuff like that, which is like a highly like contested topic. And then let's go into like, you guys are both from Vietnamese families. What are some of your favorite like foods, traditions, and stuff like that?
We got a lot of food. We could talk about this all day.
Because all we know is
whole
pho.
episode.
All we know is pho and banh mi. which
I feel like
I
that's
love.
very typical. Yeah, like when people think of Vietnamese culture, they think of those two the most because it's so mainstream now. I feel like you can go like even like American people are trying to replicate. Sorry, I can't speak today for some reason. We try to replicate like the dishes, like like when I think of banh mi, I think of like Subway for some reason, like the American Subway.
Gasp.
Yeah, and then you also have like American people trying to open like pho restaurants,
Yeah.
but they just don't know how to cook it properly. They don't know how to cook it properly. So yeah,
I like
so I feel like those two are like them.
those like
Instant-
those like instant things, like instant pho from like Walmart.
Oh yeah, they have those. It's not even like pho. It's just basically like noodles and it's like ramen. That's it. It's just basically ramen. Because I've seen those from like Costco where it's like instant Vietnamese pho, but like the broth is just water and like chicken seasoning. So it's basically ramen with pho noodles.
What makes a good pho though?
That's beyond my pay grade. That's beyond.
Yeah,
my pay grade.
Steven's like, I don't know how to cook, so Nancy has to take this question. But I feel like the best part is like the bone broth because like we have to simmer it for so long or use a pressure cooker. So something that really bothers my mom or my dad is like when we go to restaurants and there's like vegan pho or like vegetarian pho, like how does it even work? Like half of pho is the bone broth. So if there's no bone broth, how is there pho, But like definitely that's the best part. And then like I like the vegetables that go in it, but I don't like bean sprouts. So I like the herbs. Like I like the ngagai and the basil. So, but like I really don't like bean sprouts. Weird thing.
Yeah, I think for a while I'm not very big into pho. And that's because I think in my childhood, the phos that I've tasted were very, what is it, coriander forward? Or is it nutmeg? There's a certain spice in there that like, I think put too much of it and it just doesn't taste good. And then I tasted like real pho, which ironically was in Manchester, in the UK. They had real Viet people. They had real Viet like servers and chefs, so it was I trusted them, and it was amazing. I'm like, this is the perfect winter dish.
The thing about pho is that there's like no specific recipe. It's usually like the grannies cooking it in the background, like in the back of the kitchen, but they just eyeball it most of the time. So like
until it tastes good.
Everyone like has different, like some people, like some grandmas, they put like a lot of this, some put a lot of that, and it's like you can't really get like a specific recipe. You just gotta go by taste, and it's so interesting because I can't do that. I'd probably mess up the broth in like the first 10 minutes. So kudos to them.
But it's like not as hard as you think it is once you get like the bone broth part down. Because I recently started to learn to cook with my mom, and the other day we made bom manga, which is like bamboo chicken soup with noodles. And I used to think it was so hard, but it's like not that hard. Most of it is like the bone broth doing its own thing, and then you just add like salt and rock sugar, which a lot of Viet dishes use. Once you like learn one or two dishes, they're pretty much all the same.
Same.
Oh wow! Any other foods?
I like all the weird foods. Like yesterday, my friends came over and they're like, "Oh yeah, like you can cook for us." So I made them the bom manga, which is the bamboo soup. But then I also made them balut, like hot vin long, and it was their first time, and they were like so scared to try it because like they know in their head there's a baby duck in there. But I was like, it's not that bad. So they ate like half of it, but they couldn't continue because they were really scared. But the reason I like it is because I grew up eating it, and then like there's a lot of superstitions that surround hot vin long, And I just think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I think you mentioned when we were talking previously about the superstitions around balut, and because like I think us as Indonesians as well, we grew up thinking of balut as Filipino, I think, and we just think of it as a street food. But I myself have never eaten it because I don't know, I'm just squeamish of the idea again.
Me either. Never eaten it.
I would recommend to try it. Like my friend didn't regret trying it, but they couldn't finish it because they were like, "Oh, this is too much for me." But the superstition is like in Vietnamese, it's hot vịt lộn, which is like duck egg turned around, and lộn is the same thing that you do with your luck, like try to switch your luck up. So whenever my mom's having like a bad day or she feels like she's unlucky, she would buy hot vịt lộn, and then if you eat one, it would flip your luck. But if you just want to eat it and you want to keep your luck the same, then you eat two because it like flips it twice, so it stays the same. But like some people believe it, some people don't. But my mom is very superstitious, so she like swears by it. And then my sister, whenever she eats hot vịt lộn, she swears that she's better at board games and like card games. So if we have like a family night where we're playing games, she'll have to eat one before. She's like, so I can actually win this time.
Is it something that you would probably eat before an exam then? It's like,
Actually, there's like superstitions for exams too. Like you can't eat things that look like circles. So like boiled eggs is a no. We never had Cheerios growing up because Cheerios look like little circles and that means 0. My mom is so superstitious. But you would eat like beans. Like Vietnamese desserts, a lot of them have like red bean or black bean or like mung beans in it. And the bean, like the word in Vietnamese is đậu, which also is the same word as pass. So then like before my driving test or any big exam, I would eat like beans.
I'm still learning on the spot right now. I don't know this stuff. And I'm Vietnamese.
It's super interesting because like I grew up, I think my dad mentioned that in his family, it's good luck to actually eat an egg before an exam. So it's the other way around. It's just don't eat an egg on an empty stomach, apparently.
Huh? Okay.
It's not a stomach ache from eating it like just on its own, like a hard-boiled egg, not scrambled. Yeah, just plain hard-boiled egg.
Oh.
It's really weird. I don't think it actually works.
Okay, but I passed my driving test, so I feel like it works. But also, I'm pretty superstitious.
It's all a placebo effect.
And my favorite part of Vietnamese like foods, Vietnamese coffee. Like I forgot to mention this the previous time. I love Vietnamese coffee.
Never tried.
I don't drink coffee.
I don't drink coffee.
Really?
Personally, for me, Vietnamese coffee is more of like the uncles and dad drink, like the older generations.
What?
They drink that more. You'll see, like a lot of young people are hopping on that trend, but it's mostly like non-Vietnamese people because I feel like Vietnamese like people our age, we don't drink coffee a lot, like Vietnamese coffee.
I feel like people do. Steven and I are just the outliers because I get really jittery on coffee. Like I'll bounce off the walls and then I'll be really mean to people. So I don't drink coffee. And I don't really need it to stay up either, so I just avoid it.
I don't like coffee breath, so I don't drink.
Willpower! There's like times in college where I'll be up to like 3 a.m. on like water and willpower. Because tea also makes me jittery.
Say willpower?
Yes! Willpower.
I don't have that much willpower.
Same. I just give up.
I know. I'll just say like,
alright. I'll call it a day.
I'll just do this tomorrow. No, I remember my mom went to Vietnam without me. She went to Vietnam without me. And then she came back with Vietnamese coffee filters. I think they're called fin filters, the little metal filters. And they're so convenient to carry around because they're so small. But when I did my undergrad, my friend's Vietnamese course mate came over and saw me making coffee, and because my coffees are mostly like Robusta coffees, then I use a fin and I drink it with condensed milk. They're like, "Are you Viet?" And I'm like, "No, I just drink my coffee."
Well, Indonesians do that too with their coffee. Like,
we don't use fin filters.
Oh yeah, we don't. Sorry, we do use condensed milk in everything, even in
condensed milk is in everything.
Yeah, even in like avocado.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Avocado, I feel like is such a strange topic because I remember my first year I had a roommate and she was American. I was like, "Oh, do you want some of my smoothie?" And she's like, "Oh, what is it?" I'm like, "Oh, avocado smoothie." She's like, "Oh no, I'm never touching that. Avocados do not belong in like sweet things." But I grew up like eating avocados only sweet, so I was so weirded out by
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, same. I had a friend, she's my roommate now. She was Chilean, and the first time I saw her like make avocado toast, I was really confused because I was like, aren't they sweet? And then she would stare at me, and then I stare at her, and then she'd stare at me, and she's like, no, it's like butter. And I'm like, no, it does not. She's like,
Oh, it's not butter, no.
and then she made me try it, and I was like, it's not sweet. I've been lied to.
Avocado on toast is such a like a Western thing. Like you see that, I'm like, I correlate that with like fancy restaurants. Like when you go to like fancy restaurants, they like toast on avocados or like avocado salad. I'm like, no. No.
Avocado salad?
Yeah, people put avocados. They put
Yeah,
avocados
they
on
do.
a lot of weird things.
I know.
Well, we're also from California, so like avocado is
Yeah.
on everything.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's true.
It's not, the stereotype is so true. Like we put avocado on everything.
But I thought like avocado was sweet, so I was so confused.
Apparently, Southeast Asian avocados are a bit sweeter than others. And
Probably.
they're
Yeah.
also like creamier, so they're perfect for like drinks and desserts and stuff. But then like the more Western ones, I think, are harder, so they're better for like guac, like guacamole.
Oh,
I can't tell the difference. So.
me either.
I don't know whether you guys do this too, but I remember the first year of undergrad, I went to a farmer's market and they sold avocados. And back home, what we did was like we would shake the avocados because when they're ripe, the seed detaches from the flesh because the flesh becomes so dense. And so if you shake them, they kind of rattle a bit. And the person selling me the avocados was convinced that like there was a camera nearby and this was like a game show or something like that. I'm like, no, I swear, like this is the way we do it back home. We would shake the avocados. So like if you come to Indonesia, you can see like a bunch of like aunties and uncles just like rattling avocados. And she's like, that's so weird. Honey, come over. This girl's we rattle avocados.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard of that. But I've like heard of like Vietnam's like flicking all the melons or smelling like the jackfruit to make sure that it's
Oh, yeah.
ripe. So there's that.
Yeah. My mom's like, smell the mangoes. Now, like, what is it supposed to smell like?
Oh, if you smell the bottom of an avocado, it should mango. It should smell sweet when it's ripe.
Don't they always smell sweet?
Right?
No.
That's me with the flicking. My mom's like, do you hear the difference? I was like, no.
No.
But it becomes a temptation, right? You go to the supermarket and then you just flick everything,
Like everything.
touch everything for no real reason. You
That's-
don't even have the intention of buying them. You just flick them.
That's all via Asian markets. You
I
go
think
around,
that's-
you see.
I think there's also like a really big rivalry among Southeast Asian countries about their mangoes. Like who has the best mangoes?
Definitely us.
I don't care where it came from. I just want food. That's it.
Steven is a simple dude. That's all he needs.
Yeah. I can't tell the difference. Honestly, you can if you throw me at a grocery shop, I'll probably like shop for all the wrong things. I can't smell for dear life. I can't hear for dear life. It's okay.
I just remember the first mango I bought in the UK and I tried it. I'm like, this is just sweet yellow flesh. There's no actual mango in this. Something's wrong here. But I think it might just be me.
Do taste different.
To me, it does. I don't know whether it tastes different to anyone else. I just gave up afterwards.
I have a terrible taste palette. Everything tastes the same to me. So if you give me two fruits from different countries, I'll be like, it's the same thing.
Oh my.
Yeah, poor me.
I'm learning so much about Steven right now. I also feel so sorry for him. Just because like with Viet food, there's so much flavor and there's so much like difference and like contrast. So I'm like, if everything tastes the same for him, like what happens when it gets to like New Year's and there's like so many different foods that are like pickled and sauteed and like caramelized, like they all taste the same? That's concerning.
I'm uncultured. I just speak it. I'm pretty like dumb when it comes to like Viet culture.
I'm the opposite. I can speak it. I can't read or write it, but like ask me culture stuff and I'll probably know it. And my mom says I talk like I'm from Vietnam because I know all the slang. We were talking about this morning.
I think I'm in the middle. I definitely don't know any of the slangs.
I mean, I
I
grew
know-
up in Indonesia and I don't know most of the slang.
Yeah, so
I know
Also,
the
like
curse
my mom
words.
likes to, yeah, that's why, 'cause my mom
Yeah.
likes to smack talk, so I know like
I don't know what
the
smack
smack
talk
talk
is.
words.
But then on that topic, like, what do you guys do during New Year's? I'm curious to
Oh.
see if it's similar to us or very
Oh.
different.
A lot of things. New Year's is more of the prep work though. Like I feel like a lot of it is focused on the before New Year's, what you do before New Year's, and then the New Year's Day and after New Year's Day it's more like bonus. Because I know in like Viet culture, a lot of people have like a superstition where you don't clean or do anything like bad or negative on New Year's Day, so you do it before. So like the day before, all the moms are like cleaning all the crevices, mopping the house like 3 times a day. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's also like my mom says you can't wash your hair either, and I'm the type of person who has to wash my hair every day. So it'll literally be like 11:50. I'm like, I need to wash my hair now, otherwise I'm not gonna make it to the next day.
And then this is just my family. I think a lot of people do it too, but you also have to bring like gifts or like offerings to your elders. So my mom would always buy like food or like items and then offer it up to her older sisters-in-law or brothers-in-laws. So that's that as well. I don't know the purpose of it. I just know they do it. Unless
It's
Nancy
just
knows
like-
why.
It's like to respect them and give them gifts just because like they're older than you. So we always do that in my family too. We spend like a whole week before going to everyone's house, like all dressed up in like our ao yai, and like bringing them like wine and like benchung mentek, which is like the traditional food that we eat during that New Year's time, and then like just like visiting them and wishing them well, like giving them their New Year's wishes, and then they give us red envelopes in return. So I mean, it's a fair trade.
We do red envelopes on the night we do. So in America, like we do like the New Year's Eve countdown. We do that too. In like my family, we stay up till like we have a party. It's a good excuse for a party. Like honestly, any event is a good excuse for a party. Like in my family, so we'll have like a party at like 6, and then they'll just drink, and then till like I don't know, maybe like 11ish, and that's when they all start. The aunties are in like the room, like last minute, like procrastinating stuff, red envelopes and stuff, or like comparing red envelopes, and then we count them down, and then that's when after like the countdown is over, then we would start passing out the red envelopes. So like we start with like the oldest like aunt or like the grandma and grandpas, and then there's like a huge line of kids like lining up with bags. It's like Halloween.
Queen?
It's like trick-or-treating for money. It's
Yeah,
so
my family
funny.
does like a conveyor belt line. It's like all the aunties line up from like youngest to oldest, and then we go through each child like in a line because there's so many aunts and uncles, but there's also so many like cousins because I have like almost 30 cousins overall.
Oh
So
my
it
god.
takes a while. Yeah, our parties are like pretty big.
And then sometimes we have like cousins who bring like their boyfriends or girlfriends or like friends over. So the trick is, and also when you give red envelopes, you're not supposed to give it to someone. You're supposed to give it to someone younger than you. But sometimes like the older aunties will come back too. So my mom is like the second youngest, but we'll have like our old aunties get in line for the money too that they gave away. So it's kind of like their way of like getting the money that they gave away back. But also the trick is that there's actually, it looks like it's one stack, but it's actually 2 separate stacks of red envelopes. We have one with like a higher amount for the family, and if like you're like a stranger or like the boyfriend or girlfriends, you'll get the second stack, which is less money. So usually you can tell because it's usually on the bottom. If we reach for the bottom, it's you're a stranger, but if it's on top, it's like okay, you're in our family. So that's how you can tell, but people don't know that.
No,
Even just expose all the aunties.
how dare you?
It's
I
funny though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And my family does the same because like my aunts and uncles have like predetermined how much they want to give each kid. So like it'll depend on the year, like 50 or 100 depending on the year. But then it's funny because my mom's like, oh yeah, we like scored because we have 3 kids and most families have 2. So even though she's giving out that much, she's getting a little bit more in return because she has an extra kid. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, that's weird, but that's
it
fine.
works. It works like that.
Do you guys have like special red envelopes? Because I know like I'm Chinese Indonesian, so we celebrate the Chinese Lunar New Year, and banks in Singapore and Indonesia would give out like custom designed red envelopes. They're so pretty.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's so weird because like one of our other friends, she loves collecting red envelopes just because they're so pretty. She loves them because they're so pretty. But the problem is I tried to mail them to them when I was doing my semester abroad in Taiwan. And the person at the post office was like, "What's in here?" And I said like red envelopes. Just like, I swear there's no money in them, and they're just like, okay.
Ours is usually each year there's like a zodiac animal correlated to it, so it's usually like pictures of that. I know like Disney characters are also very popular, and then like I personally don't like the ones where it's just basic, like it just says like Happy New Year's in Vietnamese, or just with like Chinese signs. I think those are too basic. I like the pretty ones because they're like cool, and then some are like different colors too. Like you'll see like red and gold a lot.
Yeah,
Sometimes you'll see like pink.
yeah.
I remember one year Chase Bank gave out white envelopes, and my mom was like, "No, you can't get those because like white is like bad luck and like symbolizes death." And she's like,
Yeah.
"I don't even know why they're making envelopes that are white. Like, there's no reason." So I was like, "Oh, well, I guess they should have done the research before they printed like millions of them."
Did you say
You also
Kate Spade?
Chase.
Chase Bank?
Oh, interesting. Wow. A white envelope. I've never heard of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was not a look.
And then you also have to like exchange your money like months in advance because people like curse new dollar bills.
This year they're not printing anymore because I just went to the bank and there was a sign that says like for this year the Fed isn't printing new bills. So we're all getting crusty bills this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the same here.
Oh, I wonder what's gonna happen during Chinese New Year then. Like, are they
We
still
also, oh, go ahead.
Will it be checks? Will you have, like,
I'll take a check.
My mom has done like lottery tickets in the past. So she'll just go buy a bunch of scratchers or a bunch of like lottery like tickets, like the Mega Millions or whatever, and put it in, and then you get to pick. Some years like it'll be a game, so some envelopes will have like $50, some will have like 2. So it's like depending how lucky you are, you like grab one, and then we'll always compare with each other. Like, oh, what'd you get? It's like, oh, you got 20. Well, I only got like 30. I got like 30, so I'm like luckier than you this year.
I can't do that.
I think it's fun because my family always seems to score. So. I'm
oh,
not mad.
wow.
But then also like I don't know if it's like a tradition for Chinese people as well, but Vietnamese people always give out $2 bills because they're luckier.
I
No.
don't do that.
For us-
I know $2 bill is lucky though, but we don't do $2. The minimum
We give
is
$2 to the strangers,
Ah,
or we'll do like 5 $2 bills, so it's like $10, but it's always like crisp $2 bills. So it's like nice to have like new money. But whenever I try to pay with it at like grocery stores, when I run out of like cash, they look at me funny. They're like, "You shouldn't be spending this." I'm like, "But what's the point of having it?" Like,
It's not. People consider it rare, but it's not as rare as you think it is.
I have so many in my closet.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Don't tell people that.
I like Steven and I work together at a church youth group, and for New Year's, like we'll give it to the kids as well to like wish them like Happy New Year and also like teach them a little bit of their culture. And we had leftover ones, and they're like, "Oh, just keep it in your car or whatever." So I took it home, and I was like, "I'm just gonna use this for grocery shopping." So then when I go to the store, I pay with $2 bills because I don't have cash. I never carry cash on me.
Oh, wow. For us, I think the concept is that giving people money is like giving people fortune. And so when you give people fortune, you'll receive more in return. So like you can't be like, oh, I'm gonna give like the bare minimum, which this surprises most people when they come to Indonesia. We work with thousands. Like our money has like the thousand, like 3 zeros at the back. So it's not a surprise for you to receive like 100,000, like a banknote that says 100,000. It's like a shock to people. They're like, I've never seen this many zeros on one bill.
Yeah.
You'll-
That big. But like, if you gave people 2,000, I think that's just like, no, just don't do that. You can't get anything with 2,000 anyway.
Not anymore, at least. Maybe like one piece of candy.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
So we usually give out more. Yeah, I've been to one Chinese New Year, which was weirdly enough open house. So like anyone can come, and then they'll just hand out like red envelopes, and I'm just sitting there like, how much cash do you have?
I heard of that.
Gosh.
Interesting.
For one of my clubs in college, like it's a Vietnamese Catholic club, so we celebrate like Lunar New Year's together. And like the older members would give out like fortunes to the younger member and like the red envelopes. But one year, like this girl didn't have money, but she still wanted to participate, so she put memes inside the envelopes. And it was the year of the dog, and she put doggo memes in there. And I was like, oh my goodness.
I don't know if that's a disgrace or
I thought it was funny, but then like it's interesting because someone else also put like kind of like dares or like tickets inside. So it's like, oh, if you pull this envelope, then it's like I'll treat you out to boba so we get to know each other better, or like we can have like a picnic date. And I'm like, that's so cute because like it achieves the purpose of getting to know the other person better, and like you don't have to spend money at that moment. So
Oh wow, that's a creative way of going about it. I've never heard anyone in my family do that at all.
bro, college students will find a way to
College.
get it done.
Yeah.
Bro, college students are so interesting because I had a friend who was the leader of the British Asian Society. And when they say Asian, apparently they don't mean East Asian or Southeast Asian. They mean Central and South Asians. And what they did was they had a charity event, which was to protest against child marriages. So what they did was they hold a fake wedding. And then the
Oh.
proceeds from the tickets go into like nonprofits. It was like an excuse for everyone to go to a wedding, essentially a wedding. And my friend was the
Oh gosh,
leader
okay.
and the fake bride as well.
Interesting.
interesting way to approach it.
Right?
I
Concerned.
guess. I guess. You won't see that a lot here. Yeah,
No, I don't think so. Weddings are expensive.
They are.
But
I don't
Viet
know.
weddings go all out. Like
All night.
there's
all-
like not even like the wedding, there's like an engagement ceremony before, which is like a mini wedding. And then there's like before the wedding, there's a ceremony where like the groom comes to the bride's house and picks up the bride and like asks for their permission to take her home. And then there's like the church wedding if you have one, and then there's the reception after. It's like a 6
Wow.
a.m. to like 12 p.m. 12 a.m. day for the wedding day, and like months before that there's like a whole day engagement ceremony too. So Viet people go hard for weddings.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And money.
And people, they'll invite like anyone and everyone. Like my cousin got married last year in September, so like right before pandemic, and her wedding was 700 people.
It's typically around 700 people. Yeah, it's a
They're
lot.
like, this is my friend from the friend of dad's friend. It's like, do I know you?
yeah.
And then they're like, Yeah. I've
distant
told you
relatives.
one. Yeah. I saw you once in the party. You're like,
I saw a picture of you.
last time I saw you, you were like a little baby. I'm like, oh, come on.
who are you?
You're like, well, I'm getting married now, so like it's been a while.
A long while.
Wow, 700. I don't even think we do that. How many do you normally see, Mars? You get invited too, right?
I've only been invited to, I think it's around there.
Really? I think the ones I go to are like 300, not 7.
How am I supposed to know? Most weddings I went to, I was like little because we were like dragged into. So like, I'm like a native Indonesian, so the weddings also like too much. Like so many things. Like there's the church, but then there's the before one where you stay over the people, like the bride or the groom's house. I don't even know. You stay at someone's house, and then they also like eat there, and then there's also the after party where they have to like give everyone a handshake, and then they have to dance. I don't know. This is not proportionate. There's just a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
There's even like a portion where you like cut an animal and then you give parts
What?
to the family. You don't cut like it's already dead. It's already cooked, but like you give like the portion. It's a pig usually. Like you give a portion to the people,
Yeah.
like your family, and this is like one native Indonesian. There's a lot of like other, like if it's a Muslim Indonesian, then it's like even more stuff.
For Chinese Indonesians, I think the ones that I've seen, we don't have engagement parties. It's just suddenly someone's engaged. I don't even think my cousin got engaged. I think she just said, "Oh, my boyfriend put a ring around my finger." I said, "Just wear it," and then suddenly they're engaged.
I don't know.
Okay.
And then, there would be, if they're Christian, because half of my family is Christian, but part of my mom's side of the family is Buddhist. So the Buddhist ones would have like temple weddings instead of like church weddings. So you've got the Buddhist or Catholic or Christian ceremonies, and then you've got the tea ceremony. That one's like a big must. You know, where like all the relatives in your family basically give blessings. And then there's the big reception where everyone that you don't know is there and you eat for free.
Yeah.
I don't consider it free eating because for us, like, when you're in line, it's like at the entrance is where you take pictures with the newlywed, but before the line, there's usually like a box where you have to put like.
Oh
loads of
yeah.
money in. So basically, you're kind of paying for your food.
Yeah, because my mom, she's like, it's all calculated because each table is like a certain amount, and then you like.
Yeah.
My mom likes to do like $100 a person who goes to the wedding. So if everyone in my family goes, we would gift the bride and groom $500. So it like kind of works out in their favor.
Well, they have to,
which
pay
is why
for
they
it
invite a lot
too.
of people. But that's why they invite a lot of people, because then like
Oh.
it sounds weird, but
It
I don't like it
sense.
either.
No, Indonesian reception, you give it while you like shake their hand. Well, now they don't shake; they're just like. Usually, you like shake their hand, and it's like an envelope, and then.
Yeah. I think they have like the ones that I've been to, they do have like guest registries and stuff like that. But my family doesn't pay per person. I don't think some people pay per person.
No.
No.
I think these big weddings are like a show of wealth almost.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the ones that I've been to, I think my parents used to bring all of us because I have 3 sisters. So like the whole gang gets to eat. And then after a while, they're like, this is too embarrassing. It's like we're freeloading on them. So they decrease it to like 1 or 2 kids. Sometimes
How do they choose who goes?
Raffle.
It depends on the location. The fancier ones, I think I'm the one who gets to go because like I get to appreciate actual things, and like my mom likes to like, oh my gosh, look at this, it's so nice. I wanna like take pictures of that. Because my younger sisters, they're picky and they don't care. So they're like, okay. And like by the time we get into like the ballroom, they're like, okay, go eat. We just disperse and go eat.
I just try to put everything in my plate, like one little by little.
How does
weddings are
food
very
work at?
simple.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because like weddings are very different for food.
Oh, how?
There's like 7
They serve the
to
same
9
thing.
courses.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's always the same. It always starts with an appetizer, then soup, lobster, Peking duck, fried rice, sweet and sour. There's like a lot of dishes, but it's always like the
Just
same type of dishes.
no matter
But
where
you
you
have
go.
to like prepare yourself for like a 9-course meal or like a 7-course meal.
Yeah.
Oh, ours is
Oh.
buffet.
Mhm,
No.
Yeah.
You don't do buffet.
Ours are buffet style, so they just release us, and you know, the. No, it's true. Mars this like parents will just like, okay, go hang out with like your, you know, your cohort and stuff like that. It's also like Chinese Indonesian circles are quite small, and so like you shouldn't be surprised to be sitting across like your classmate. It's like, oh no, now we're related.
Yo, no, that happens too. Yeah.
Oh no.
Or this one time I went to like a funeral, and I was like,
That's where you found out?
I saw my friend and I was like, why are you here? He's like, that's my grandfather. And I'm like, oh, so related. I was like, oh, okay. There wasn't
Yeah.
even like a connection. Like he was like a different religion and like, you know, like different ethnicity. Not ethnicity, like different native. family,
Different.
whatever.
Interesting.
Yes.
I don't know, man. It's different. And then I was like, oh, okay.
This isn't even like relation, but I remember there was this one kid who moved into our school, and he was talking about his uncle and how his uncle like came from this one little city from that is not Jakarta. So we all live in Jakarta, but my mom is originally from like a small town. Now it's no longer a small town called Makassar, and he was saying, "Oh, I'm from Makassar too. Like I heard you mention it in class. Like, oh yeah, my uncle's part of the, you know, when old people hang out with each other, those gatherings. He's like, it's part of that group." And I'm like, okay, that's weird. And he's like, no, my uncle's name is this. Like, you might know him. And I'm like, no, I don't. But then I told my mom about it, and she's like, oh yeah, that guy. He went to high school with your grandma. They've been best friends ever since. And just like, that's so random.
Yeah.
It's a small world out there.
Yeah, definitely. We didn't really get through much, but apparently our time is up.
Actually,
Oh well.
can I have one more last question?
Sure.
What kind of Asians have you been mistaken for?
Ooh.
I can go first.
Yes,
I can go first.
Yeah, what?
So eager.
So, you can't tell from the camera, but my skin is actually pretty dark. Like I'm pretty dark. I admit that. So people can like people mistake me as Filipino once in a while. So I'm used to that. But what like sometimes like it's not Asian, but I'll get like Mexican once in a while. And I'm just like I just go with the flow. Because they think I don't speak Viet, so they'll talk shit about me in Viet or something, and then it's usually at like the stores, and then I'll respond in Viet, and they're like, oh,
Oh no.
Oh, you have to respond. I usually like keep quiet, and I'm like, okay.
nah, and then or sometimes like when I'm at a Viet store and like they're struggling with English, I just speak Viet, and they're like, oh, you're Vietnamese. I thought you were like Filipino or something. I'm like, I get that a lot. I get that.
How are you, Nancy?
I get Chinese sometimes. I feel like I look pretty Viet. If y'all look at the video, I feel like I look pretty Viet. I have like the typical like long black straight hair and like pretty fair complexion and like really small eyes, especially when I smile. But I was on the plane to Vietnam, like to visit the motherland, you know, and everyone was speaking to me in Chinese. And I was like, hello, like wouldn't you assume Viet first, especially since we're going to Vietnam? Even in Vietnam, like we were checking into a hotel and they were speaking to me in Chinese. And I was like, I don't speak Chinese, like in Viet. I was like,
I am one of you.
What about you, Inga?
I'm Chinese Indonesian, so obviously I get Chinese a lot. But I remember when I was in Singapore waiting for my mom, because this is Orchard Road. So if you've been to Singapore, Orchard Road's like the main central like shopping area. And I was waiting there for my mom, and the people that come up to me, I'm like, I don't speak your language. There's been like Japanese person, Korean person, Chinese person, a German person came up to me. I'm like, that makes no sense, but okay. But yeah, it's mostly that. I don't think I've ever been mistaken for any other Southeast Asian, and I think that's because Southeast Asians don't get enough representation.
Yeah. I actually get Filipino and Viet a lot, which is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do get Viet. They're like, if you're not Filipino and you're from Southeast Asian, that means it's Viet. Now I'm like, ah! And then they're like, no. There's other Southeast Asians. You're like, oh, Malaysians. Now I'm like, oh no. No, come on. And then sometimes they would say Chinese. I do get a lot of Chinese. Yeah, I guess that's just I want to ask that because there's not a lot of Southeast Asian representation, and hopefully this episode kind of goes down a bit on how our cultures are unique in its own. And I hope you also listen to Rant Collective. They'll come here in this. Yeah, okay. And I hope to see you
Lauren.
next week and stuff. Bye.
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 Hello, hi. Thank you for listening to the Peak Boredom Podcast. This is Mars and Inga signing off. And don't forget to tune in next week. Please. Bye.